Hello everyone, good morning. Can anyone please confirm am I audible or not? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay then. Last class we discussed about higher order components, right? Can anyone tell why we go for higher order components? Why we go for higher order components? If you want to share the functionality across the components, then you can go with what? Higher order components or not. If you want to share the functionality across the components, then you can go with higher order components. Okay, I have a question. In the menu.js exec observer says here you are using this import like a keyword. Here the import is like a method. Import is like a method. See, in the ES6 we can use import as like method also. As like method also. Okay, just they introduced this. The method name is like this one. Okay, so that we can use import. Here we can use like a keyword. Here we can use like a method. Okay, just they introduced this one. It's like a method. Okay, don't confuse, like here it's like a keyword. Okay, here it's like a method. Okay, how we can use this keyword like a method? Both are like different. Okay, this one introduced in the advanced JavaScript like a method. Okay then let's start. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, am I audible now? Am I audible? Yeah, okay then. Now see, if you observe here, yesterday's class. Now this is one component, this is another component. Okay, how much part we completed yesterday? If you open this higher order component, where is that? Inside HOC, if you open this one, says it's take one component as an argument or not. How we can say this is like a component? Can anyone guess? How we can say this is like a component? In JavaScript, there is no type, nothing. Based on the usage or not. Okay, I'm using this one like what? Okay, starts with capital letter in the element format. Starts with capital letter in the element format is nothing but what? It's a component or not. So that it's take one component as an argument. Okay, and returns what? Returns one more component or not? Returns one more component or not? Now see here, this particular method where we used, can anyone guess? This method where we used, this method we used here. See this here. Okay, now if you observe this one, method definition, see, it's take one argument. The argument type based on the usage, I can say like it's a component. So that which component you pass now? Button click component. So finally my component is like a button click component or not? Okay, see this button click component. My COMP pointing to button click component. Why? Because that is an argument. Now here what you are doing, this is the button click component. You passed, you given some attribute, you specified some attributes. If it is like a component, if you add an attribute, so what it means, you are passing the data to that particular component, or that is the meaning of this particular attribute or not. If it is like a component, okay, this is the key value. Okay, we can pass the data. We can pass the data to this particular component or not. Which component? COMP. COMP is nothing but what? Argument. Argument is nothing but what? Button click or not. So finally you passed this data to my button click component or not. In this case, if any data come to button click component, if my button click component is like a class component, how we can represent the data? We can represent the data by using props or not. Agreed or not? By using props, so that finally this data go to my button click component. Inside my button click component, I can use like this or not. Now based on your requirement, at first time, do you want me to show 100 or 0? Which one you want me to show? 0 or not? So that I don't want 100. Okay, can you pass 0 here? Can you pass 0 here? Yes. Okay, now see, if you come here, like 0 or not. Can I refresh my page? Okay, it takes some time because compilation is going on. Compilation is going on. Okay, just wait. Yeah, my compilation is completed. Now see 0. Can anyone tell This 0 is like hard-coded data or keep on changing? Has to change or not based on your button click. So this particular whatever 0 is there, that 0 should not be hard-coded. That should be what? Okay, that should be dynamic value or not, so that based on your requirement, okay, can we add that data to one variable? Okay, it's like a dynamic data, right? Okay, which variable is the suitable one? You can guess. Okay, the data, whatever the change, whatever the data changes, that changes has to reflect within the browser. Then it should be what? A state variable or not. So see here, it's a component, right? Inside the component, what you can do? You can write the constructor, you can create the state variables, whatever you want, you can do it. So that you can write the constructor. See, I'm writing particular constructor inside my count. Inside my count. Okay, that count is going to return. Okay, here my count is like a class or it's a component. It's a component. Okay, inside this component, I want to call my super class. And then can I create like one of the state variable called as what? My count equals to 0. So that I don't want to hard code it. And we state dot count. Yes. See this. Now it's not a hard coded data. If you want to check, is it really reflected or not? Can I pass like 2? Now see this. My 2. Okay, that is only the data or not? Now tell me. 0 has to increment or not. That is our functionality. Okay, here you can write the functionality inside a class. One function is required. So that function increment count is my function to increment this value or not. So that can we do one thing? How can increment this dot state? My count equals to this dot state dot count plus 1. That's it. Now here, see, it's normal component. Just I'm writing whatever the code is there here in the JS. Okay, that code I'm writing here. That's it to share the functionality. Okay, done. Now the thing is here, but this is not there. Then can you bind it? How you can bind it? This dot function increment count equals to this dot function increment count dot bind and update this. It's done. Okay, now tell me this particular method when you want me to call to increment this count data. Okay, when you want me to call. Okay, this is my count. And you can put it because count is my component name, right? So that I want to put like CNT. Okay, here I want to update like what CNT count. Yes. Now this is the method I'm going to use to increment my count. So that when you want me to call this method, can anyone guess? When you want me to call this method at the time of clicking on this particular button or not on click. So where is your method? My method is inside your higher order component. Okay, my button is inside my button component or not. So can we give this method to my button click component? This one. Okay, how we can give? How you give an my count same like this? Can we give this method to? Yes or no? Any number of attributes you can pass it, no problem at all. Yes. Now these two attributes go to your component. Component is nothing but an argument. Argument is nothing but in this case what? Your button click component or not. So inside my button click component, we can represent this data by using props or not. The first prop is like this dot props dot count. My second one is like this dot props dot function increment count or not. So that can come here. Okay. This dot props dot. Okay. Function increment count. This is the method or not. This is the method. Now can I come here? Can you click on this one? Okay. Now say it's not working. Why is not working? Can you check it? This dot props dot function increment count. So this is not saved. Okay, can you save it? No. It's working as expected or not? It is working as expected or not? Okay, same like this. This particular component is an argument. Okay, now where you are using in another place, that another place is like 𝕧𝕚𝕚𝕟𝕬. Okay, we are using or not. So those two props come to my text over component also or not. So that inside my text over component, instead of this one, can we use that props? Okay, and this method it's like not my own method, it's coming from outside. Now can you come here? Yes, see this? How it's working. Okay, now simply can you go to my text over? Can I remove everything? The functionality already you created, right? Okay, that functionality already you written inside your higher order component, so that functionality I don't want to write inside my component level. Okay, inside my button click component as well as inside my text over component or not. Now tell me, how many times you written the code? How many times you written the code? You written the code only one time or not? Only one time or not? Only one time. Okay, how many times you used this particular code? You used in this particular component, button click component. Okay, why? Because this data go to your button click component as well as text over component or not? Okay, like this, how many places you want? That many times you can use it, right? Only one time. Use any number of times or not is possible by using higher order component. We can say like a higher order component means it's take one component as an argument. It's take one component as an argument and returns one more component or not. Returns what? Returns your count component or not. So that this one we can say like what? Higher order component or not. Very simple thing. Okay. First of all, understand the functionality. Functionality is what? One number is there. I have to increment that number count so that I want to use this functionality multiple places. So that just write that. Okay, create one number, increment that particular number count. That's it. This is my requirement functionality or not. I return that one inside one component. Inside one component. Okay, I want to follow the structure. Okay, I want to follow the guidelines of higher order component. Okay, it's take one component as an argument, returns one more component. That's it, simple. I can take it. Okay, now whatever the functionality you return, give that functionality to the particular component. Which component? Okay, argument component. Argument component is nothing but text over is you are passing like an argument, as well as here button click also you are passing like a argument. So that this data, okay, one is like variable, another one is like function. Both go to your button click component as well as text over component or not. So how we can use it? Yes. Any data which is coming from outside, I can represent by using props, so that this is the variable I printed here. This is the method I bind it to here to this particular what particular event or not. Understand or not? So far, this is the way my higher order component is going to work. If you want to share the functionality across components, then you can go with the higher order. The same functionality again we are going to discuss at the time of hooks discussion, custom hook. Okay, I want to write my own hook. Okay, that is the separate discussion. That time we can see again. That one we can see again. Okay, perfect. Okay, can we go with the next topic? Okay. Now the thing is, okay, they may ask the question like how we can use this higher order component, how we can call out, how we can use this higher order component. Simple. This is like a method, right? It's take one argument, right? Where you want me to use this functionality, go to that particular component. Okay, use that. Okay, this is the method, just you can call it. This is the method, just you can call it. This is the method, you can pass your component. And here itself, this is my text over. Okay, this is the method. Okay, just you can pass as an argument to this particular word. That's it. Okay. If you want to maintain, one more question. If you want to maintain multiple variables, okay, now come on here. One more variable is there, name such. Okay, for this particular one, I have one more function. Okay, functionality. Okay, I want to change like for example, function change name. Okay, this is my function. You also can write like this dot set state. Okay, my name is like node. Okay, now if you want to give this particular state, okay, this particular state, one variable is there, then the time you can give like this dot state dot count. The total data if you want to give, just give this, you can change like a state data. Now how much data is going to my component? Total state data or not? Okay, inside the state data what it contains. Okay, count is there, name is there, anything. In the past, you passed like one property inside an object, one property inside an object. Now, you pass the total object or not. That is based on your requirement. More than that, nothing. That is based on your requirement. Okay, so you can write any number. Okay, any number of methods you can write it. Okay, same like normal, okay, general component that is. Okay, this is the one. Okay, any questions? Okay, this count is 0. Okay, it's like initial value. That's it. This is my initial value. Okay, if you want to pass this name, okay, yeah, you can pass it. This dot state dot name. Now, how many props go to your component? 3 props. One prop is like, okay, this dot props dot name also or not. So you can go, you can use it. Okay, where you want me to use here. Okay, here. This dot props dot name. This dot props dot name. That's it. This dot props dot name. Also this. The section should be there. Okay. Understand or not? Okay, like this, whatever the functionality you want, you can write it, you can share. Okay, to whom you want me to share? Okay, who called this higher order component by passing an argument? Okay, for that particular argument, you can pass the data. That guy is going to take it. If it is like a class component, then you can use like a prop. If it is like a functional component, we can use like what? We can use by using an argument. By using an argument. Okay, next question is how many props you can set? How many props you can pass it? Okay, general. One element is there. How many attributes you can write it? How many attributes you can write it? Any number of attributes you can write it or not. Any number of attributes you can write it. Any number of attributes you can write it. So that okay, you can pass any number of props you can say simply. Why? Because my prop is an object. How many properties you can write inside the object? Any number of properties or not. Multiple names if you want to pass. How you can pass it? Name 1, name 2, name 3, like this. You want me to pass 3 players are there. Okay, how you can pass it? Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess how you can pass it? Simple. My name is equals to Sachin, Dhoni. Okay, like this. How you can manage the data if you want to represent multiple elements? Okay, how you can represent the data okay, which contains more elements? How you can represent by using an array or not? Now it go to my particular component as a names as a prop. Okay, now my names type is like what? My names type is like an array. Okay, once this is an array, then that time, how we can take the data from the array? How we can take the data by using index, or by using another one, or by using for loop, whatever you want, you can use it. Yeah, Dhoni, second one, Dhoni or not? Understand or not? Okay. For every click, I want to change the name. Then the time, how you change the name count for every click? Same like this, you can change it. You can write one function or give that function to some other person where my button is there. Ask him to click the button. Ask him to call this method, whatever I passed. Same like this. Okay, I passed one function to increment the count, another function to change the name. Okay, these methods go to your component. Inside the component, write one more button or something. Okay, that button click. Okay, at the time of clicking on the button, okay, it is going to call this method or not. Okay, that is the way. They understand or not? Based on your requirement, you can write it. Okay, this is for only increment count. You can create one more higher component. Okay, based on your requirement, you can create one more like this. Any number of higher order components you can create based on your requirement. Okay. Okay, then perfect. Next. Any questions? Should we go to the next topic? Okay, the next topic is like exception handling. Next topic is like exception handling. Okay, why we go for exception handling? Can anyone tell why we go for it? Yeah, I have a program is there. My program should terminate it properly or not. It should not. Okay, it should not terminate abnormally or not. Simple. I have one program that has some set of statements are there. Okay, that statements one by one at the end of that particular function or all the statements. Okay, end of the statement has to execute normally or not. It should not terminate abnormally or not without any interruptions. without any interruptions. Okay, generally I have some piece of code is there. Okay, here my console dot log of one. Okay, console dot log of log of. Okay, here wait, here dot length. Okay, now my console dot log of done. Okay, three. Here one more console dot log of. Okay, done. These are my statements. And how many statements are there overall? Overall, 5 statements are there. If I execute this particular function, for example, if you execute all these statements, that statement line, number one, nothing but statement, first statement to last statement, one by one has to execute properly or not. Okay, so that if I call my method, then you can say like, yes, my function executed successfully like this. Okay, the first statement to last statement, each and every statement executed as expected, then we can say like, yes, okay, whatever the function call is like, it's terminated, successfully, normal way or not, terminated successfully or not. Okay, that means the execution is completed successfully or not. But because of some reason, you are expecting what? Console of one to done, I am expecting. To some reason, my program terminated abnormally in the middle. Okay, my program terminated abnormally in the middle. Okay, that time, you should have to, it's raise an exception. That exception may be you raised, it's nothing but user defined, or due to some reason, my JavaScript people raise some exception. Okay, because of that particular reason, my program terminated abnormally or not. Okay, now come here. Okay, if you observe, go to my console. Okay, if you come to this particular one, now say this is my function. If I call my function f1, can anyone tell? Will this particular function call terminated successfully, or will this particular one is terminated abnormally based on your requirement? Can anyone tell based on this by seeing this method? Okay, terminated successfully. If I click on this one, where it's terminated? Okay, it's abnormally or not? Why? Because see, one exception raised. Okay, when uncaught reference error is not defined. Is not defined. My exceptions we can say like a runtime errors. Runtime errors. Okay, there has two types of errors are there. One is like compile time, another one is like runtime or not. Compile time errors is nothing but syntactical errors. For example, this is only the function brace missed. Okay, now at the time of clicking on this particular one, see this uncaught syntax error at the time of loading, itself. Okay, this type of errors we can say like a compile time. Okay, compile time. Okay, I'm telling about this routing. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this is the routing, right? Where is that? Okay, this is the routing. Here there has some other things also there which relate to these things. It's not yet completed. It's not yet completed. I will tell those things. I will explain. Understand or not? Okay, I will tell these things. Okay, this is my function. It's like a syntactical error or not, because here it's not there. Okay, here it's not, this particular brace is not there, so that it's terminated like what? Okay, terminated at the time of run, at the time of executing this particular f1 method, or at the time of loading, only or not. It's like a syntactical error. Understand or not? Okay, then now come here. Okay, now it's okay, fine. There is no syntactical error, nothing. So can we call it? Or how we can call? Like this we can call. This is like a runtime or not. Now at the time of clicking on this particular particular F1 call, enter button. Now see this. This one is executed. This one is executed. But here my a dot length. Here my a dot length. My a is like what? Not defined. So that it gives me an error like what? A is not defined or not. Reference error. A is not defined. Okay, now it is like 1, 2. It's okay, fine. Here an exception raised at runtime or not. Okay, so that it is terminated from here itself. Okay, the remaining statements never executed or not. Remaining statements never executed. Okay, now in this case we can say like what? It's like a runtime error or at the time of loading, compile time error. It's like runtime or compile time. Okay, it's not a compile time. At the time of running this particular code, at the time of executing this particular code only, you get this error or not. Your program terminated abnormally or not. Okay, it's like a runtime. This is like an exception. Okay, my JavaScript throws an exception because of that one only. Okay, instead of terminating normally, it's like terminated abnormally or not. Now, how we can handle as a programmer, how we can handle that one? Okay, first of all, as a programmer, what you have to check, Okay, first of all, you have to check like my A is there or not. Okay, that means A is there or not. Okay, if A is there, then only you have to perform some operation or not. Which operation? A dot length. Okay, you have to perform this operation or not. If A is there, then only you have to perform this operation or not. If A is not there, you should not perform this operation. So that the problematic statement is this one or not. This is my problematic statement. First of all, find the problematic statement. First of all, find the problematic statements. Okay, once you find the problematic statements, the next level is what? You have to handle that particular statement. Okay, why this particular statement causes an issue is nothing but in which case this particular statement is going to raise an exception. Okay, first of all, you have to find that particular statement where exactly the problem will occur in the future. Okay, at the same time, which reason, because of which reason it may throw an error, throw an exception, because of this A is not there, then the time you are not able to find the length. You are not able to find the length, so that A value should be there or not. A value should be there. Okay, so two things you have to keep in mind. One is like where exactly the problematic statements are there. The next one is like, okay, because of which reason it may throw an error. Okay, how we can fix it? How we can fix it? Because of this one, okay, these statements should not be affected. These statements should not be affected. Like this, we have to handle that exception or not. Now my exception handling is completed. Now the next one. Come here. The exception raised. Now, which one is the problematic statement? This is the problematic statement or not? Okay, in your JavaScript, it has some keywords are there. It has some keywords are there. One is like try, another one is like catch, another one is like finally, another one is like throw. These are the keywords. The first one is like try, right? The first one is like try. But why we go for try means, is there any problematic statements are there? Okay, that problematic statements you can keep inside that try black, so that you can try. Okay, that problematic statement you can write inside that try black. Yes, absolutely. Okay, perfect. Now, can I call it? Okay, now see here, in the compile time only, it throws a syntax error. What is that? Can you read it? Missing catch or finally after try. What it means? In JavaScript, if you use try, okay, then that time you should have to use either catch or finally or not. You should have to use either catch or finally or not. You should have to use either catch or finally. So that when we use try and catch combination. Okay, why we go for catch means? If any statement throws an exception, okay, that exception handling will happen inside the catch block, inside the class block. Okay, so that this try block throws an exception, immediately which block is going to execute? Okay, my catch block is going to execute. Okay, now syntactically it's correct. Now can we call my F1? Yeah, see this. 1 and 2 catch block executed. Why? Because here an exception raised, so this catch block executed. After that, my 3 printed. After that, my done printed. That means my program terminated successfully or not by handling this exception or not. Where exactly the exception occurred. Yes or no? The program terminated or not. Okay, the exception handling is nothing but just, it's not a matter of handling the exception. Okay, we should have to provide some alternate solution for this particular exception. Okay, in future, if you get the same, okay, if you see the same code or the same statement in another line after this line, if you see this one, then that time it should not raise an exception. Why? Because you already handled that exception. Nothing but, okay, you have to provide some alternate solution for this particular statement execution. Okay, if you want to check, I will tell you one. Okay, come here. Okay, yeah, one variable is there. Okay, here it's like a name dot. Okay, here also I'm going to write like console.log. Done. Can we call my F1? If I call my F1, see 1 and 2. 1 and 2 executed. Okay, here my name is like an undefined, so it throws an exception. My catch block executed, yes, catch executed, and then 3, yeah, executed. Now I'm going to perform some operation again on name dot slice 0, 3. That means what? What it means? What it means? My name is like an undefined, right? So that slice operation you are not able to perform. So it gives me like you cannot read property slice of undefined or not. Now my program terminated successfully or abnormally. Okay, it's terminated abnormally or not. Here up to here, okay. Okay, but here after this statement, here it throws an error or not. Okay, already you handle the exception, right? For the name. Okay, you perform some operation on name. Okay, because of that name value is like undefined, so that only, right? It's raise an exception. So exception handling is nothing but not only just fixing these errors or whatever it is. Okay, you should have to give some alternate solution for this particular name in future wherever he use. So what is my alternate solution for this means? Very simple thing. If that particular name is not there, and we give one more name equals to default name like a Sachin. Okay, now my exception try and catch is okay. My catch is like a back, as well as you can use like a method syntax also. If you use like a method syntax, it will give the error message so that you can print that error message also. Okay, now by seeing this one, can anyone tell, will this program terminated successfully or abnormally terminated? First name undefined 1 2 console.log undefined.length. That means what? It throws an exception so that it will come here. It's print an exception, and then my name is like undefined, right? So that if the name is not there, what is my default name? Sachin. So console.log. Now my name is like what? Sachin. Sachin.slice 0, 3. So everything is there. So my program terminated successfully or not with 1 2. This is your exception message, and then 3, and then Sachin for 3 characters, and then done. Okay, here what it means. Okay, exception handling is nothing but not only just fixing your exceptions or errors. Okay, but also you have to provide some alternate solution for this particular name or not. In future, if you do some operation on the name, it should not affect or not. Great. Is it okay or not? Okay, it's like try catch. The next one is like finally is there. Finally. What the finally means? Okay, finally is a block. Finally is a block. Either exception occurred or not. Always finally block will execute. Log off. Now exception occurred. Finally executed or not. Exception occurred. For example, exception not there. Okay. Okay. When my exception is not there, my name contains some data. Then there is no exception, nothing. So that say if the exception is not there, 1 2, okay, see here name dot length is like 5 5, and then finally executed. Exception is there or exception is not there, always my finally black is going to execute or not. And then 3 for 3 characters DHO, and then done. Is the way it's going to work or not? Yes or no? Try catch finally. And the next one is like throw. throw. What is this throw means? Very simple thing. If name is not there, can anyone tell name dot length? Who throws in this exception? Who throws? Okay, who throws this exception? My JavaScript people already written some piece of code. My JavaScript people throws this exception or not. Sometimes, okay, my JavaScript people not handling, okay, based on your requirement, okay, that type of exceptions. For example, name is not there. Okay, then that time if you perform an operation, my JavaScript people handle it. For example, I have salary, one variable is there. Salary, one variable is there. If my salary is like this, my function, yeah, okay, I have one variable is there where salary equal to -100. Is this the right value for my salary? If my salary is less than zero, then you should have to throw an exception or not. But my JavaScript people not throw this, not handle this one. Why, you know? My JavaScript people simply check for salary is defined or not defined, has some data or not. Just he's going to check. My salary is defined, has some data, so that the data contains what is not a matter. Okay, that one you have to handle it properly and throw your own exception or not. So how we can throw my own exception is, okay, here like this. If my salary is less than 100, you, okay, throw is the class. New error. Okay, error is the class. You are going to create an object for this. Here you can give the message. Okay, which message, you know? JavaScript people throws an exception, then that time they gives you one message like what? Okay, cannot read property. Okay, this is like on undefined, like this. Same like this. Okay, salary should not, okay, negative. Okay, this is your message. Okay, any exception occurred. Okay, immediately which block is going to execute? Okay, which block will execute? Okay, catch block will execute or not. So that this is my problematic statement. Okay, this is my problematic statement. This variable is my problematic statement. So that this is my problematic statement. Now my try should follow what? Catch or finally. So that this is my catch block. Now I write my console.log of e. Write my console.log of e. Now see this. If I call my f1, now see this. First, my salary, this one is going to execute 100. My salary less than 100, less than 0 is nothing but yes. Okay, so that this particular one is going to execute. Now, who throws this exception? Who throws this exception? You throws that exception or not? This is like a user defined exception or not? Okay, once you throws an exception, that is throw by you or JavaScript, in the time my catch block is going to execute or not. If I click on this one, yeah, see this. Okay, this is throws at runtime. The salary should not be negative. That is your message or not. This is the way we are going to throw our own exceptions. We are going to throw our own exceptions. Okay, now this is like pure JavaScript related stuff. But now my requirement is I want to handle the exceptions inside a component. My component is not like a simple JavaScript code, right? Okay, it's not like simple JavaScript code, right? It contains JSX, it contains CSS. It's a component, is nothing but it's a combination of multiple things or not. Now the exception is occurred inside a component. How we can handle it means it's not like try and catch. They gives you a separate, okay, flow, a separate syntax to handle that exceptions inside a component. Okay, how we can handle that exceptions inside a component means they provided two lifecycle methods. Two methods they provided. What those methods, you know? One is like get derived state from error. The another one is like component did catch. Okay, these two methods they provided to handle the exceptions inside a component. To handle the exceptions inside a component. Understand or not? Okay. Okay then. Okay, I have some work. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue remaining things. Okay. Thanks guys. Thanks for joining. I will upload this one. Okay, same like these exceptions are same like Java only. Okay, exception. Thank you.